From Holstein, we journey now to the Tuque area, north of Marthasville, to the home of Alex and Clara Nissing. Clara's mother, Caroline, came to this country from Germany at the age of 17 as an indentured servant of the Hoop family. She was to work for them for $5 a month until she paid off the $100 indenture. However, the Hoops soon returned to Germany, so Caroline worked for someone else for $5 a month and sent every cent back to the Hoop family until she had them paid. Caroline met and married Fred Brekemeyer while working on a farm near Treelor. They became the parents of Clara, born in 1892. Clara married Alex Nissing in 1911. We join Clara and Alex now, many years later, on a Sunday evening at their kitchen table.
Oh, what a nice weekend this has been. It's always, nice to have some of the kids come home and bring the grandkids.
Yes, yes. But it's always nice when they all leave and go home.
Oh, Alex, I really enjoyed this afternoon. I think the grandkids really liked hearing about our personal histories and looking at my old photo album and hearing what life was like years ago.
They couldn't believe I was born when Benjamin Harrison was president, and that I remember seeing my first airplane, first radio, and first car. They didn't know I was a streetcar conductor.
And I was a housemaid.
But we saved our money, and we bought our farm here, 192 acres for $3,750.
But Alex, it really wasn't much of a farm. It was all timber. I remember how hard you worked clearing that ground.
Yeah, I cut and hauled many a load of firewood to Marthasville at $2 a wagon load.
Yeah, and you railroad ties.
Made my own fence posts.
Yeah, I remember you driving those posts in the ground with a 20-pound maul. And then, of course, we started our family. Milton was born in 1915, and I knew you were glad it was a boy.
Oh, he could be of help on the farm in a few years.
Yeah, but I'll have to admit that when baby number 2 was on the way, I was kind of hoping for a girl. I could make pretty little dresses for her and put pretty bows in her hair. Oh, well, baby number 2 was
Fred.
And then there was baby number 3,
Norman.
Baby number 4,
Glenn.
Well, by the time baby number 5 was on the way, I had given up all hope of having a girl. By then, I was training Fred to help with the garden and the canning and the cooking.
Well, that was good, because baby number 5 was
Burton John. And that's when the Big Depression hit the country.
But we held on to this farm.
Well, yeah. Our neighbors, the Thurmans, the Alonzo Williamses, the Smiths, they all stayed.
Being farmers, we had our own eggs, milk, meat, and our vegetable gardens. And we had 13 Jersey cows, and boys to help milk them, so we sold cream. A 5-gallon can of cream brought $1.50, $2.
Yeah, and I sold our extra eggs for 7 cents a dozen.
No, I remember needing some extra cash. I had to sell one of those cows. I got $11 for her.
Yeah. But, everyone had the same problem, so we just all stuck together.
Most of our neighborhood were of German ancestry, but none of us spoke German after World War I. We were Americans.
Yes. And there was a saying going around about that time, that there were 2 kinds of people. There were cornbread people and biscuit people.
We were cornbread people. They were the most trustworthy.
And, looking back, literally, I made many a pan of cornbread for those boys. A pan of cornbread, hot out of the oven, with real butter and homemade apple butter. Bobby could make a meal out of that.
Yes, but that pan of cornbread with some fried squirrel and milk gravy was better. And Milton could always be relied on to take the old .22 rifle out into the woods and come back with his limit of 10.
Yes. We raised our own cane. Remember, we made our own sorghum.
Butchered our own hogs. I even cut stave bolts to make oak barrels. The boys had trap lines to sell coonskins or whatever they caught.
Yeah. Well, the Depression years were hard, but, you know, we still managed to have fun. We had dances in our homes to fiddle music.
Pinochle games.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, church at St. Paul's in Marthasville. We saw to it that every one of the boys were confirmed there.
Church was important when it came to raising a family.
Yeah, but so was strict discipline at home.
Yes, I disciplined the boys, but I always made sure they knew exactly why they were being punished. And I always tried to instill in them the words of my father he so often used. Do the best you can and always hold up your end of the work.
And the boys always worked. Oh, remember the new neighbor? The bootlegger. Oh, he set up a still in the woods right by us.
Oh, he made some good moonshine. Sold it at dances, made good money at it. Our older boys cut wood and hauled it to the still.
And you let Norman at age 10 drive the old pickup and haul water to that still. You know, there were people who complained to the sheriff about that guy.
Yeah, he came out several times, searched the woods, but he never could find a thing.
That man hid barrels of that stuff everywhere, though.
He even hid one in the brush in our pasture. One day, old George, our bull, found it and had a grand time, rolling it all over until it broke open. All that good liquor spilled on the ground.
Well, we made it through those Depression years, but little did we know what 1936 had in store for us.
We had absolutely no rain from April through October.
And it was not only hot, not only dry, but it was so hot. We slept outdoors.
We lost our chickens,
Yeah.
Neighbors lost hogs.
Yeah, and then there was that red dust that blew in from the Dust Bowl in Oklahoma. It covered everything.
The only good thing about it was next spring, our fields were covered with a plant that was new to us. It was cow peas. We harvested it and the cows loved it. Those seeds had blown in with that red dust from Oklahoma 500 miles away.
Yeah, I guess what really helped us financially, though, was when fire clay was found on our farm. We got 10 cents a ton royalty on it.
And Norman loaded trucks for $4.50 a day. Fred got an old dump truck and could hold 5 tons, made money hauling it to Truesdale.
Yeah, of course, you know, we have to remember our oldest, Milton. He bought and hooked up our first radio.
It ran on a car battery. He ran an antenna from the house to the chicken coop, and it worked.
Milton left home in 1937, so he could work in a factory in St. Louis. And in November of the next year was when we got the telephone call.
Your son has been fatally injured in an accident at work. He's 23.
So, you know, now we had just 4 boys. Fred was now our oldest.
And then there was Norman.
Oh, yes. Norman was the first of our boys to go to Wright City High School. You know, our boys had to walk 2.5 miles every day to grade school. But for high school, they had to room and board in Marthasville. But now they only had to walk that same 2.5 miles and meet the school bus to take them to Wright City High School.
I always let them use the car for after-school events.
Yeah, and then there was the neighbor's daughter, Betty Schmidt, who always wanted to ride along.
Do you remember the night Norman dropped her off in their driveway and backed out so fast he hit a cedar tree? Put a dent in one end of the bumper.
Mm-hmm. He decided the best thing to do was to pull forward, aim it just right, go at the same speed, hit the same tree, and put an identical dent in the other end. It worked.
No, I'd like to say my boys never lied to me, but 2 weeks later, when I pointed out the dents to him, he looked me straight in the eyes and said, "Why, Dad, it's always been that way. It came that way."
Oh, yes, the trials of raising boys. But then came World War II. I think I was the only mother in Warren County to have 4 sons in the service.
Fred was in the Army, saw a lot of action in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
Norman, at age 21, was an ensign in the Naval Air Force. After the war, sometimes he would fly over the farm and buzz the barn.
Oh, yes. I hated it. I just knew he was going to hit the barn, the plane would explode, he'd be killed, and the barn would burn down.
No need to worry. In his torpedo bomber in the war, he could dive 10,000 feet straight down and skim the ocean at 20 feet.
Yeah. Glenn and Burton were both in the Navy. Glenn witnessed the 4th test of the atomic bomb at Bikini Island.
Burton even stayed in the reserve for a number of years and used the GI Bill to help pay his way to college.
Yeah. You know, Alex, I read one time, somebody said that when we leave this world, we should leave it a better place than it was when we came into it.
Well, I'd say we've done that.
Hmm?
This farm is sure in better shape than when we bought it.
Yeah. And the boys have all done well. Fred is big in the real estate business in San Fernando, California. Norman worked in the railroad industry in Denver for a long time, and now he's in real estate in Washington State.
Glenn was a mail carrier in Oregon for many years and then came back to St. Louis and is working for McDonnell Douglas.
Yeah. And Burton, well, he loves to say that the Nissing family has 3 college degrees, and he has all 3 of them. He's a college professor. I think we can be proud of the way we raised our boys.
Well, it all goes back to the words of my father.
Do the best you can, and always hold up your end of the work.
Thank you, Mildred and Dan, for those touching reminiscences of a hard-working farm couple and their spirited boys. Burton is Clara and Alex's last surviving son. His health does not permit him to be here with us this evening. When Mildred told Burton about her plans to portray his mother and that she needed someone to portray Alex, Burton insisted that longtime family friend Dan Cully portray his father. We're very happy and appreciative of you, Dan, traveling from St. Louis to come out and portray Alex Nissing. Thank you. As a side note, I do want to mention that Mildred's late husband, Gilbert, was a longtime friend of Burton Nissing. And Burton served as the best man at Gilbert and Mildred's wedding more than 60 years ago.